He was an innocent accountant. They framed him for millions and threw him in prison for 20 years. 10 years later, they would
Bring him out.
Here is a crime story about an innocent man sent to prison. The clang of the steel door was a full stop on the life of Elias Thorne. One moment, he was a respected accountant, a man whose world was built on the comforting certainty of balanced ledgers and quiet evenings with his wife, Clara. The next, he was inmate number 734, stripped of his name, his suit, and his future, swallowed by the concrete belly of Blackgate Penitentiary. The crime was a masterpiece of deception, a multi-million-dollar fraud scheme siphoned from the accounts of the corporation where he worked. The evidence was a digital spiderweb, meticulously woven to place Elias at its center. Transaction logs bore his digital signature. Ghost accounts traced back to an IP address linked to his home computer. His boss, the charismatic Marcus Vance, had even shed a tear on the witness stand, expressing his profound betrayal. Elias had proclaimed his innocence, his voice raw and desperate in the sterile courtroom. He knew nothing of the scheme. He was just a numbers man, a cog in a machine he never realized had been weaponized. But the jury saw a quiet man with access, opportunity, and a mountain of circumstantial proof. They saw a liar. The judge sentenced him to 20 years. Prison was a different kind of math. It was a brutal calculus of survival. The first year, Elias was a ghost, flinching at shadows, his mind a constant, replaying loop of the trial, searching for the one detail he'd missed. He was soft, an easy target, but he learned. He learned to walk with a purpose he didn't feel, to keep his eyes down but his senses sharp, and to make himself useful in ways that didn't involve violence. His accounting skills became his currency. He helped older inmates draft letters to the parole board. He managed the complex bartering system of the prison library. He became the ledger, a quiet, unassuming man who could make sense of chaos. It earned him a sliver of respect, a fragile shield against the worst of Blackgate. For 10 years, the world outside faded. Clara's weekly visits were his only anchor to the man he used to be. Her face, etched with a decade of worry and lonely strength, was a painful reminder of everything he'd lost. His daughter, Lily, grew from a little girl who drew pictures of their family to a teenager who struggled to make eye contact across the visitor's glass. But in the 10th year, something shifted. It happened during a sleepless night, the chorus of snores and distant shouts his only company. He was mentally re-auditing the last project he'd worked on before his arrest, a corporate restructuring codenamed Project Nightingale. Marcus Vance had been dismissive of it, calling it a vanity project. Yet he had insisted Elias back up all the data to a specific external server, one not on the company's main network. For security, Marcus had said with a smooth smile. At the time, it was a simple instruction. Now, 10 years later, in the suffocating darkness,